Imagine sitting down to a meal of fresh vegetables, believing you're nourishing your body, only to find out that some of those very foods are quietly working against your kidneys. It feels almost unfair, doesn't it? We're told our whole lives that vegetables are the golden ticket to good health, but when the kidneys begin to struggle, what once healed can sometimes harm. I'm Dr. Brian, and welcome to Channel Vital Science for Seniors. Today we'll uncover a surprising truth. Your kidneys cannot heal if you eat certain vegetables. Some of them are so high in compounds like potassium and oxalates that they can quietly build up, stress the kidneys, and even block their natural recovery. But don't worry, by the end of this talk, you'll not only know which foods to avoid, but also what to enjoy and how to protect your kidneys so they can serve you well for years to come. When I sit with patients in my office, especially those over 60 who are dealing with kidney disease, I often see the same expression on their faces. Confusion. They say, "Dr. Brian, I've always eaten my vegetables. How can they be hurting me now?" And I understand. It feels almost like betrayal, something as wholesome as spinach or a tomato suddenly becoming a threat. But here's the truth. When your kidneys are healthy, they can handle extra potassium and oxalates. When they are weakened, however, these same compounds pile up like unwanted guests that never leave. Over time, they can raise your potassium levels dangerously high, create kidney stones, or slow the healing your body is trying so hard to achieve. Let's start with spinach. It looks innocent, even saintly, Popeye's superfood, but spinach is like that friend who seems supportive, yet brings chaos when you're already stressed. It's packed with nutrients, but also very high in potassium and oxalates. If your kidneys are not working well, potassium accumulates in the blood and can lead to irregular heart rhythms, sometimes even life-threatening ones. Oxalates, on the other hand, form sharp crystals that can combine with calcium and produce painful stones. I had a patient, Mr. Harold, who loved his daily spinach smoothies. He believed he was doing everything right, but when his labs showed rising creatinine and his scans revealed kidney stones, we traced much of the trouble back to his beloved greens. Switching to lighter options like lettuce or arugula made a world of difference. Then there are tomatoes. Most of us can't imagine a stew, salad, or pasta without them. They're rich in antioxidants, yes, but they're also loaded with potassium. One medium tomato isn't the end of the world, but tomato sauces, ketchups, and pastes are concentrated powerhouses. Think of it like this. One tomato is like a single match, but a cup of tomato sauce is a roaring bonfire for your kidneys. For people with chronic kidney disease, that overload can tip the balance and cause potassium levels to soar. Some patients safely enjoy a small tomato here and there, but I often guide them toward roasted red peppers when they crave that savory sweet tang, much safer and just as flavorful. Now, potatoes and sweet potatoes are another big surprise. A baked potato may be comfort food, but in kidney disease, it's like loading your system with a weight it cannot lift. Both are extremely high in potassium and oxalates. Even a medium potato carries more than 600 milligrams of potassium, which for a struggling kidney can be overwhelming. The good news is, preparation makes a difference. Cutting them into small pieces, soaking them, then boiling can cut potassium nearly in half. I remember a woman named Ethel who loved her sweet potato casseroles, but was devastated when she had to give them up. With careful soaking and double boiling, she found a way to enjoy tiny portions again. Proof that sometimes compromise can still bring joy. Beets, both roots and greens, are praised for heart health. But in kidney disease, they're a double-edged sword. High potassium plus oxalates make them a risky choice. I've seen patients who thought beet juice was a healing tonic, only to come back with rising potassium levels. Similarly, Swiss chard, though beautiful with its rainbow stems, is like spinach's cousin, loaded with potassium and oxalates. Even after cooking, the danger remains, and I usually recommend avoiding it. Rhubarb is one most people don't think about, but it hides enormous amounts of oxalates, some of the highest of any food. Just a serving can be enough to trigger stone formation in a vulnerable kidney. Broccoli and Brussels sprouts, on the other hand, are often confusing. They're not as bad with moderate potassium and relatively lower oxalates, but the key is moderation. A small side dish a few times a week may be fine if your potassium levels are stable, but not every day. Kale, avocado, and beans round out the group. Kale has less oxalate than spinach, but still plenty of potassium. Avocado, though beloved for its creamy texture, is a potassium giant, nearly 700 milligrams in one fruit. And beans, rich in plant protein and fiber, also come with hefty loads of potassium and phosphorus. When the kidneys can't excrete phosphorus, it builds up and weakens bones, another hidden danger. Alternatives like green peas or chickpeas in small amounts can provide protein without the same risks. The lesson here isn't that vegetables are the enemy. It's that in chronic kidney disease, your kidneys lose their ability to filter and balance. What once was healthy may now be heavy. Think of your kidneys as a sponge that once absorbed and squeezed out waste with ease. Now the sponge is worn, and even a little excess can spill over. Choosing carefully, cooking wisely, and respecting portion sizes becomes the difference between slowing the damage and accidentally fueling it. Now let's shift to the hopeful side of this story, because it's important to remember that food can also be your medicine. For every vegetable that strains the kidneys, there are others that soothe, protect, and nourish without overloading them. These are the foods I call gentle companions for your kidneys, supportive, steady, and safe. Take bell peppers, for example. They're not just colorful decorations for your plate, they're rich in vitamin C, vitamin A, and powerful antioxidants like lycopene, all while staying very low in potassium. Think of them as bright shields, standing guard to reduce inflammation and help your immune system. I once had a patient, Clara, who felt defeated after giving up tomatoes. She missed the vibrant taste in her salads. When we introduced roasted red and yellow peppers, her meals came back to life, and so did her joy of eating. It wasn't just nutrition, it was morale, and morale is medicine too. Cabbage is another unsung hero. In many parts of the world, it's considered a poor man's food, but when it comes to kidney health, it's pure gold. Cabbage is full of phytochemicals, natural compounds that help neutralize free radicals, those little sparks of damage that can accelerate aging and disease. With only tiny amounts of potassium, sodium, and phosphorus, cabbage provides fiber and vitamins without burdening the kidneys. Picture it like a gentle broom, sweeping through your digestive tract, reducing inflammation, and making your meals hearty without hidden risks. Onions are often overlooked, but I tell my patients they are one of the best secret weapons for a kidney-friendly diet. They're low in potassium, yet loaded with a compound called quercetin, which is a natural anti-inflammatory. If spinach and potatoes are like weights dragging the kidneys down, onions are like a cool compress, calming the system. They also help with flavor, which is no small thing. For people who need to cut back on salt, a critical step for protecting kidneys, onions offer a way to season food richly without sodium. I remember an older gentleman, James, who struggled with bland meals after lowering salt. When he learned to caramelize onions slowly, layering them into his stews, his meals became satisfying again. That small change helped him stick with his kidney protective diet long term. Cauliflower is another powerhouse. Though it looks humble, it offers fiber, vitamin C, and compounds that actually help the liver neutralize toxins before they ever reach the kidneys. It's like having an extra filter working alongside your kidneys, sharing the burden. Many of my patients use cauliflower as a substitute for potatoes. Mashed cauliflower, lightly seasoned, provides comfort without the potassium overload. It's not just a swap, it's a strategy, one that allows people to enjoy familiar dishes in a new, safer way. And then there's lettuce. It may seem too simple to matter, but don't underestimate it. Lettuce is very low in potassium, sodium, and phosphorus, yet it hydrates and provides a refreshing crunch. It's like water dressed up as food, giving your body gentle nourishment without asking for much in return. Darker varieties like romaine carry more nutrients than iceberg, but all are safe choices for someone protecting their kidneys. I once had a patient, Margaret, who used lettuce wraps to replace bread, cutting down on salt and phosphorus while keeping meals enjoyable. These small swaps built into a diet that helped slow her rising creatinine levels over time. The science backs this up. A study published in the Clinical Journal of the American Society of Nephrology showed that diets rich in low potassium, antioxidant-rich vegetables can help reduce inflammation and improve outcomes for people with chronic kidney disease. In simple terms, the right vegetables act like quiet healers, easing the pressure on your kidneys while still giving your body the tools it needs to thrive. The message here is one of hope. Just because you have to be cautious doesn't mean you have to give up variety, flavor, or joy in eating. There is a vibrant rainbow of kidney-friendly vegetables waiting for you. Each bite can become a small step toward healing, each meal a quiet act of self-care. When chosen wisely, food transforms from a hidden villain into your most trusted ally. Now let's talk about one of my favorite topics because it combines science with everyday life: the way you cook your vegetables. You see, food isn't just what you buy, it's also what you do with it. The same potato can be a threat or a manageable treat, depending on how you prepare it. For kidneys that are under stress, cooking becomes more than an art. It becomes a healing tool. Think of potassium like sugar in a cup of tea. The more you stir, the more it dissolves. Similarly, potassium inside vegetables can be coaxed out into water when we use certain methods. The simplest technique is soaking, sometimes called leaching. By cutting vegetables into small pieces and soaking them in warm water for a few hours, you give potassium a chance to seep out, like tea leaves releasing flavor. Potatoes, sweet potatoes, and even carrots benefit from this method. Patients often tell me, "Dr. Brian, it feels strange to soak vegetables." And I remind them, you're not just softening food, you're protecting your kidneys. Boiling is even more effective. When vegetables simmer in a pot of water, potassium leaches out into the cooking liquid. This is why I always advise draining and discarding that water. Don't use it for soups or gravies, tempting as it may be, because all the potassium you work so hard to remove is hiding there. Imagine your kidneys like a dam holding back a river. Boiling helps open the gates just enough to let the floodwaters of potassium escape before they ever reach your body. For foods especially high in potassium, like potatoes, I often recommend double cooking. This means boiling them once, draining, and then boiling them again in fresh water. It's like giving the vegetable two opportunities to let go of excess potassium. I had a patient, Louise, who adored her Sunday mashed potatoes. When she learned the double boil method, she didn't have to give them up. Instead, she could enjoy a smaller portion safely, and that restored not just her diet, but her sense of normalcy. Now, not all cooking methods are helpful in this way. Steaming and microwaving, for instance, are excellent for preserving vitamins and minerals, but they don't reduce potassium significantly. That means they're perfect for low potassium vegetables like cabbage, onions, or cauliflower, where the goal is to keep nutrients intact. But for high potassium foods, steaming is like locking the door when you actually want to let something out. Another overlooked trick is peeling and chopping. Potassium tends to concentrate near the skin of root vegetables. By peeling them, you're already lowering the burden. Cutting them into smaller pieces increases the surface area, making it easier for potassium to escape during soaking or boiling. Think of it like breaking up a big rock into pebbles before washing them. More surface, more cleansing. Some patients worry this extra preparation is too much work. But when I see the relief in their faces after lab results show lower potassium levels, I know it's worth it. One gentleman, Roger, used to dread his blood tests because his potassium always came back dangerously high. After he and his wife started soaking and double boiling their potatoes, his numbers dropped safely, and his anxiety lifted. He once told me, "Doctor, I finally feel like I have control again." And that's what this is about: turning cooking into empowerment. Science confirms these practices. Research has shown that boiling can reduce potassium content by up to 50% in certain vegetables, making previously risky foods more manageable for people with kidney disease. That's not just theory, it's a lifeline for many seniors who long to enjoy meals without fear. So when you step into your kitchen, remember this: every pot of boiling water, every careful soak, every peeled potato is more than a task. It's a form of medicine. The choices you make at the stove can lighten the load on your kidneys, giving them room to breathe, to rest, and to heal. Cooking isn't just nourishment. For those living with kidney disease, it can be an act of protection, a daily ritual of love for your body's most vital filters. At this point, you've seen how certain vegetables can harm and how others can heal, and even how cooking can become part of your medicine. But let's step back and look at the bigger picture. Because kidney health isn't just about individual foods, It's about patterns, habits, and choices you make day after day. These choices may seem small, but over time they create a rhythm, like a gentle tide that shapes the shoreline of your health. The first truth I want you to hold on to is this. Even healthy foods can become harmful if the portions are too large. I once cared for a woman named Evelyn who was eating kale salads every day, proud of how healthy she thought she was being. But her potassium levels kept climbing. When we adjusted her portions and balanced her plate with low potassium foods like cabbage and peppers, her levels steadied. The lesson? Moderation is not restriction, it's wisdom. Cooking, too, remains central. Whenever you're tempted to skip the extra step of boiling or soaking, remind yourself, you're not just softening vegetables, you're lowering the silent burden on your kidneys. For those living with high creatinine, this step can make the difference between stability and dangerous flare-ups. Every drained pot of water is like emptying toxins from your future. Another powerful habit is to avoid canned vegetables packed with added salt. Sodium is like sand in the gears of your kidneys, grinding them down slowly. Choosing fresh or frozen options, or at least rinsing canned vegetables thoroughly, is like giving your kidneys clean oil to run on. Patients who make this switch often notice their blood pressure easing down too, which is another gift to kidney health. Balance is another key. Think of your plate as a seesaw. If one side is heavy with high potassium vegetables, the other side should be light with low potassium ones. This balance keeps your body steady, preventing dangerous spikes that can harm the heart as well as the kidneys. Remember, the kidneys are not just filters. They're partners with your heart, your blood vessels, and your bones. Protecting them protects everything. Hydration is often overlooked, but it is vital. Water helps the kidneys flush out toxins, like a stream clearing debris from a riverbed. Of course, some people with advanced kidney disease need fluid restrictions, so this step must always be guided by your doctor. But for many, steady hydration is a simple and powerful ally. And then there's the hidden danger of processed foods. They often contain phosphate additives, which are like invisible weights pressing down on your kidneys. These additives don't appear in nature, and our bodies aren't built to handle them well. Skipping processed snacks and frozen dinners and choosing whole, simple foods instead lifts that weight off your kidney shoulders. Perhaps the most important step of all is not found in your kitchen, but in your relationship with your healthcare team. Following up regularly, listening to your doctor or dietitian, and adjusting your diet based on your lab results makes this journey safe and personal. I've seen patients who felt lost and frightened suddenly gain confidence when they had a plan tailored to their needs. Kidney disease is never a one-size-fits-all condition. Your body deserves individual care. Let me share one last story. A patient named Harold came to me overwhelmed, convinced that kidney disease had stolen his future. He missed the foods he loved and feared every meal was a trap. But when we built a plan together, low potassium vegetables, boiled potatoes, onions for flavor instead of salt, he began to see meals not as dangers, but as tools. His lab results stabilized, and more importantly, his hope returned. He told me, "Doctor, I don't feel sick anymore. I feel like I'm living again." That is the heart of it. Protecting your kidneys is not about punishment or deprivation. It's about learning the rhythm of your body, respecting its limits, and nourishing it in ways that give it room to heal. Each choice, each portion, each cooking method, each decision to skip processed food is a quiet promise you make to your future self. And the beauty is, it's never too late to start. So here's the truth I hope you carry with you. Not every vegetable is a friend to struggling kidneys, but with the right knowledge and care, food can still be your medicine. By choosing wisely, by cooking with intention, and by listening to your body and your medical team, you can protect kidney function and lower creatinine. Healing is not about perfection, it's about small, steady steps. And remember, age is not a barrier to change. It's an invitation to live more wisely, more gently, and with more self-respect. You still have the power to write your health story. I'm Dr. Brian, and thank you for joining me on Vital Science for Seniors. Until next time, take care of your body, cherish your kidneys, and never lose sight of the hope that healing, even in the smallest ways, is always possible.